Hello, aspirants. Very warm welcome to Oliveboard. This is Rohan Tange, your faculty for the day. And in today's session, we're going to talk about a subunit of the regulatory bodies in India, which is particularly Nabard. So, without much of a further ado, let's begin. Yeah. So, when you talk about Nabard, Nabard is a development bank. And what is the focus of Nabard? The focus of Nabard is catalyzing growth and catalyzing agricultural growth by allowing access to credit. In India, the problem lies with accessibility and financial literacy and financial exclusion. Because of these factors combined, a large portion of Indian population, especially hailing from the rural areas and belonging to the agricultural sector, gets left behind and also does not get access to the much needed loans. And because of this liquidity crunch, a lot of farmers are trapped in debt traps, unfortunately, which are created by the money lenders and the middlemen. So, this is the typical nature of Indian agricultural sector. And to tide over this problem and to inject the Indian agricultural sector with a advanced set of norms, NABARD was instituted through a parliamentary act in 1982. The act goes by the name National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development Act. Now, when you talk about the functions of NABARD, NABARD's initiatives are aimed at building an empowered and financially inclusive rural India through specific goal-oriented departments. Goal-oriented departments meaning NABARD can have various departments like irrigation, like roads, like water, like electricity, all of the inputs which go into the making of successful agriculture. NABARD also provides refinance support for building rural infrastructure. Now, what do we mean by refinance? There are a lot of projects which are stuck in the limbo. There are a lot of projects which are stalled because of the financial crunch. So NABARD intends to provide more financial cushion by offering finance support, thereby refinancing the entire project and allowing the stalled projects to again get underway so that rural infrastructure, especially social and physical, is built with agility, which has resilience and is timeless. NABARD, apart from this, also prepares district level credit plans to guide and motivate the banking industry in achieving these targets. These district level plans are directed towards not only the overall growth of agriculture but to the entire district, because many districts are still supported by agricultural economy, that is the primary economy. So yes, district level plans or district level credit plans will will help in preparing a blueprint for cash augmentation, finance augmentation, and thereby leading to more and more buildup of infrastructure. NABARD otherwise supervises cooperative banks and regional rural banks. Apart from these core functions, NABARD also helps these banks in developing sound banking practices, comply with national guidelines and international guidelines, and also integrate these banks into the core banking solution platform. The core banking solution platform is an aggregator model where the banks and their branches are integrated in an online mode, wherein the customer doesn't necessarily have to visit the bank branch physically but can operate remotely and also can make transactions like fund transfer by using the core banking solution platform. So the core banking solution platform allows banking services at your fingertips without physically moving to the bank. This is a boon not only for the people living in urban areas but also especially for people living in the rural areas, is because it is in the rural areas that there is a great paucity of bank network, that there is a great shortage of bank ATMs, and therefore with government's outreach programs and with expanding broadband connectivity, one can hope that the core banking solution platform will bring people much closer than ever before and will also allow them to conduct and manage and operate their banking practices. So, Nabard also provides training to handicraft artisans. Why? Is because handicraft artisans are many dime a dozen in India, and these handicraft artisans need a platform to showcase and demonstrate their craft and their skill, whereby their craft, their skill, and their products can be commercialized, and then that can also be used to sell their product in the domestic market, and not just that, by exporting them in the international market. But all of this would require training to the handicraft artisans, not only in terms of showcasing, not only in terms of marketing, but also in terms of having a viable and a commercially available marketing platform. NABARD intends to provide that training to handicraft artisans and a marketing platform, thereby bridging the institutional deficit which has prevented these craftsmen from getting access to the markets. NABARD, apart from this, has various international partnerships, including leading global organizations and World Bank affiliated institutions, which are breaking new ground in the fields of rural development as well as agriculture. Yes. So these international partners, they play a key consultant's role. So basically, these international partners not only provide money, not only provide financial aid, but at the same time play an advisory role, play a consultant's role, and prescribe and instruct a lot of good practices which may go a long way in ensuring rural prosperity and agricultural success. So NABARD has tie-ups with World Bank and its affiliated institutions, which means that financial aid and financial resources would never stop, and that there would be a regular stream of funding coming from these institutions, of course, along with their valuable advice. Now, if you talk about the history of NABARD, the importance of institutional credit in boosting rural economy has been clear to the government right from its early stages in planning. In fact, at the behest of RBI, the government constituted a committee to review the arrangements for institutional credit for agriculture and rural development way back in 1979. This was set up under the chairmanship of Sri B. Sivaraman, who was a former member of Planning Commission. So it was at the insistence of RBI that a committee under Sri B. Shivaraman was instituted, and it was this committee which outlined the need for a new organizational device for providing undivided attention, forceful direction, and pointed focus to credit related issues linked with rural development. And this, my dear friends, was the genesis of NABARD, that is National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. It was instituted as a statutory body because it was formed under an act in 1981. Its initial paid up capital was rupees 100 crores, and it was contributed in a ratio of 50 to 50 between the Government of India and the Reserve Bank of India. If you take 2018 figures, the paid up capital of NABARD stands at a staggering and an impressive rupees 10,580 crores. So one can see and imagine that NABARD, after having taken baby steps in the early decades, has now become a behemoth when it comes to institutional credit in rural sector and in the agricultural sector. So NABARD has become the backbone of Indian rural economy, and that would not be an exaggeration. So to support Indian rural economy with credit facility, RBI was the apex body before the formation of NABARD, quite naturally. Because before the formation of NABARD or before its inception, there was no specialized body, there was no specialized financial body which was taking care of the financial needs of the rural economy. So, of course, the burden fell on the shoulders of RBI, which was managing its economic activities with a view to develop India and with a view to ensure welfare and guarantee credit facility to the underprivileged and underserved section in India. NABARD's role is basically, therefore, one can conclude, is the continuation of RBI's role in the sphere of agriculture and rural development. Okay. Tanu has asked here a question. If I have not taken computer in my 12th, so will it be compulsory for me to take a certificate of computer course for RBI assistant, sir? Tanu, you can definitely take this up question with the management at Oliveboard. But with the limited information that I have, I don't think you need to have taken computers in your 12th, necessarily speaking. I don't think that's a qualifying criteria, or that's a ground for elimination of your candidature. So I don't think that is required. And still, I would suggest that you take some more opinion, or some more, or you field these kind of questions to the management as well, so that they can cover these questions with a lot of certainty. I am 90% certain, but you can definitely go for more doubt clearing. Okay. So Vineet has asked, is it possible to get the notes or PDF of these classes? If not, could you please suggest app sources for us to refer? Vineet, a simple thing is you can go through all these sections, and these are all available on YouTube, freely available on YouTube. So you can just simply pause the video, take down your notes, or maybe take screenshots, and then you can use these screenshots and these notes to prepare for your exams. So no need to unnecessarily worry and fret over whether you're going to get notes or not. These slides are enough, and these notes are enough for you to cover a lot of easy areas, and and answer a lot of easy questions. So the low hanging fruits and the easy pickings can be covered by using these lectures, right? Or you can alternatively make your own notes while going through these lectures, play them on slow speed, or maybe pause them. That's a better way of taking down your notes. Okay. So this is about Nabard as a body. So RBI initially had three institutes: the Agricultural Credit Department, Rural Planning and Credit Cell, and Agricultural Refinance and Development Corporation. These three departments were eventually transferred to Nabard. When you talk about ACD, it provided short-term finance to cooperatives. When you talk about rural planning and credit cell, it was dealing with regional rural banks since 1979. And when you talk about agricultural refinance and development corporation, it was set up in 1963 to work as a refinancing agency in providing medium-term and long-term agricultural credit to support investment credit needs for agricultural development. In the year 1975, ARC was renamed as ARDC to give focused attention to credit offtake, development, and promotion of the agricultural sector. Okay. Then in 2017, the Nabard Amendment Bill was passed. Okay. Here, the amendment enabled the government to increase the authorized capital of Nabard from rupees 5,000 to rupees 30,000 crore. So today, the total paid up capital of Nabard is rupees 30,000 crores. Right. So you can see the leaps and bounds by which the organization has grown from a paid up capital initially of 100 crores to rupees 30,000 crores today. So this amendment was necessary to ensure that Nabard can also grant big ticket loans for infrastructural development in the rural areas. Okay. So there has been a transfer of RBI share to the central government. Initially in 1981, the RBI and the government held 51% of the share capital of Nabard. Right. So the bill provided that the central government alone must hold at least 51% of the share capital, and the bill transfers the share capital held by RBI and valued at rupees 20 crore to the central government. So now the central government will have had to pay an equal amount to RBI. Now let's talk about MSMEs. Under the 1981 Act, Nabard was responsible for providing credit and other facilities to industries having an investment of up to rupees 20 lakh in machinery and plant. The bill extends this to apply to enterprises with investment with rupees 10 crores in manufacturing sector and rupees 5 crores in the services sector. So one can see that even the MSME sector has now been covered under the ambit of Nabard, and that financial services are also extended to the MSME sector with the same alacrity and with the same speed. So this is all about today's lecture, wherein we have spoken at great lengths about Nabard. In the next lecture, I will be talking about one more issue associated with finance, so that your revision for RBI Grade B is kept on track. So till the time we meet next, this is Rohan Dange signing off from Oliveboard. Thank you. Take care.